Welcome back to the studio, everyone. I'm Carly Smith with Rob Washburn for another week of 3 things to watch. And Rob, the guys from upstate New York are still in the fight. Each week, the record books are being rewritten as number 5 UAlbany advances to the FCS Semifinals for the first time in program history to face the number 1 seed South Dakota State. In last week's quarterfinals victory over number 4 Idaho, quarterback Reese Poffenbarger broke both the UAlbany record for single-season total offensive yards and the career record for touchdown passes. Rob, he wasn't the only one bringing the juice offensively. How would you size up both the Great Danes and Jackrabbits' offensive units taking the field on Friday?
Yeah, Carly, UAlbany turned in a very strong performance last Saturday, piling up 461 yards of offense against an Idaho defense that hadn't allowed more than 370 yards all season. Greg Gattuso told us that Reese Poffenbarger played the best game of his career against the Vandals, passing for 341 yards and 3 touchdowns. He also made a tough 6-yard run to pick up a first down late in the game. His top target was Brevin Easton, who was virtually unstoppable with 9 receptions for a career-high 228 yards and 3 touchdowns, including the go-ahead 30-yard score with 4:38 left. Freshman Griffin Woodell provided 98 yards on the ground and then put the game away with a 29-yard run in the final minute. The Great Danes will need to maintain that balance in production on Friday night. Now, winds in excess of 30 miles per hour limited the passing game of South Dakota State and its All-American quarterback Mark Gronowski in last Saturday's 23-12 win over Villanova. The Jacks turned to their rushing attack with Isaiah Davis rolling up 192 yards and a touchdown behind a big and talented offensive line. South Dakota State averages over 200 yards per game on the ground and through the air, which makes them extremely tough to slow down.
Now let's hear what Greg Gattuso said about the Jackrabbits' offense.
They're good. I mean, they're good. They're seasoned. They got a lot of veterans. When you look through their depth chart and heavy on that offensive line, a lot of experience. And offensive line tends to be a position experience is more important than anything. And yeah, they're good. They're good. Again, you just can't. There's just not a lot of chinks in the armor with these guys. You know, they're good across the board, and that offensive line, it's going to be, we need to play better.
All right, let's talk about the guys who will toe up against these offenses. UAlbany ranks number 1 in the nation against the run. South Dakota State leads all of FCS in total defense. Coach Greg Gattuso told us South Dakota State, they're the complete package. They play smart and physical, especially defensively. Rob, what's your analysis?
Yeah, Carly, as good as these 2 offenses are, the 2 defenses might be even better. As you mentioned, UAlbany is number 1 in FCS against the run, giving up just 78 yards per game. The Great Danes haven't allowed more than 107 yards on the ground to an FCS opponent and have held 10 teams under the century mark. Now, if they're able to stop the run, that allows them to turn up the heat with a pass rush that has recorded an FCS best 50 sacks and also leads the nation with 28 turnovers gained. UAlbany only had 1 sack and 1 forced turnover last week, but it was a huge one, as Anton Junkaj forced a fumble on a sack of Giovanni McCoy that was recovered by Elijah Hills with 2:46 to play. Now, the numbers are just as impressive for South Dakota State, which is holding opponents to an FCS low 254 yards and the nation's best 10.5 points per game. The Jacks have given up more than 343 yards in a game all season, and they haven't allowed more than 17 points in a game since October the 7th. It won't be easy for either offense to reach the end zone this week.
Let's listen to what Greg Gattuso said about the Jacks defense.
Some defenses, they play the call that the coach gives them and they play it, but the great defenses understand the call and understand the weak spots of the call and what's coming. And I think they're exceptional with that. They're very they play smart. They're physical and they can run. I mean, they're a complete package in every capacity on the field. They're very good. There's a reason why when you win that many games.
It's a quick turnaround with kickoff being on Friday at 7 o'clock p.m. in Brookings, South Dakota. Rob, it's not easy by any means to travel to South Dakota to face a team that's undefeated at home and play in the windy and cold weather. But if there's anyone that's up for the challenge, it's UAlbany. They've put in some serious mileage this season, and it can get pretty chilly in New York too. Rob, why is UAlbany up for the challenge?
Carly, as we talked about last week, UAlbany is unfazed with being on the road. This will be the 9th away game of the season for the Great Danes in the 7th different state, which includes flights to Hawaii, Idaho, and West Virginia. Now, while no team can prepare for the winds that blew in Brookings last Saturday, UAlbany spends plenty of time practicing in the cold and can adjust to that. The bigger issue will be a spirited home crowd at Dyke Stadium, where the Jacks have won 20 straight games. The defending national champs are on a 27-game winning streak overall and provide the toughest test yet on what's been a magical ride for the Great Danes.
Great stuff, Rob. Now let's hear from our CAA Coach of the Year, Greg Gattuso, on the challenge up ahead.
Knew our time was going to come someday if we continued to work hard. I mean, it's what we preach with our team, and we just follow our own advice. And to be in the Final Four is awesome. I think it's obviously not many people thought we'd be there, and but we were able to beat a good Idaho team on their home turf and earn our way in. And I know we're the new guys on the block, but hopefully this is the start of what we've all dreamt of here at UAlbany.
7:00 p.m. Eastern, number 5 UAlbany versus number 1 South Dakota State on ESPN2. You know the drill. Visit CAAfootball.com for results, recaps, and more, and follow along on social media at CAA Football. Good luck, fellas.